Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered, where did I really come from? Not just your parents or grandparents, but all of us. Where did the human story begin? Today, we re-embarking on an incredible journey millions of years into the past to meet our earliest ancestors and uncover the epic tale of the first humans. Our story doesn't start with us, Homo sapiens. It starts much earlier. Around 6 to 7 million years ago in Africa, the evolutionary line that would lead to us split from the one that would lead to our closest living relatives, chimpanzees. This ancient ancestor wasn't human, and it wasn't a chimp, but it was the starting point for a brand new adventure. Imagine a world transforming. The dense forests of Africa were beginning to shrink, making way for vast, open savannas. For our early ancestors, this was a game changer. The challenge of this new environment sparked one of the most important adaptations in our history, walking on two legs, or bipedalism. Why was this so crucial? Well, standing tall allowed them to see over the tall grasses, spot predators, and find food more easily. Most importantly, it freed up their hands. With their hands free, our ancestors could now carry food, tools, and even their young. This was a revolutionary leap. This brings us to a famous ancestor you might have heard of, Lucy. Discovered in 1974, Lucy was a member of the species Australopithecus afarensis who lived over 3 million years ago. Her skeleton was a treasure trove of information, proving that our ancestors were walking upright long before they had large brains. Lucy and her kind were the pioneers, taking the first bipedal steps on the path to humanity. But the story doesn't stop there. As our ancestors adapted, their brains began to grow. About 2.5 million years ago, a new character entered the stage, Homo habilis, which means handy man, and for good reason. This was the first of our ancestors to consistently create and use stone tools. These weren't just random rocks. They were intentionally shaped tools for cutting meat and breaking bones to get to the nutritious marrow inside. This access to high-energy foods like rocket fuel for brain development. The ability to think, plan, and create was born. Fast forward a bit to about 2 million years ago, and we meet Homo erectus, the upright man. These ancestors were true explorers. They were taller, had even larger brains, and were the first to venture out of Africa, spreading across Asia and Europe. But their greatest innovation was arguably the mastery of fire. Fire provided warmth, protection from predators, and a way to cook food. Cooking made food safer, easier to digest, and unlocked even more nutrients, further fueling brain growth and social development. Imagine them, gathering around a crackling fire, sharing food and stories under the stars. This was the birth of the first communities. For hundreds of thousands of years, different human species coexisted, like the Neanderthals in Europe and Asia. But eventually, one species emerged that would change the world forever. Us, Homo sapiens. Appearing in Africa around 300,000 years ago, we were different. We had lighter builds, but our brains were uniquely wired for complex language, symbolic thought, art, and incredible innovation. This cognitive revolution allowed us to form larger social networks, plan for the future, and pass down knowledge like never before. We created art deep inside caves, crafted intricate tools, and eventually spread out across the entire globe, reaching every continent. We outcompeted and sometimes interbred with other human species, until eventually we were the last humans standing. So, when you look at the world around us, our cities, our technology, our art, remember that it's all built on a foundation laid millions of years ago. From the first tentative steps on two legs to the spark of the first fire and the dawn of creative thought, the journey of the first humans is the story of all of us. It's a story of resilience, innovation, and the unbreakable spirit of exploration. Thanks so much for joining me on this incredible journey through time. If you found this as fascinating as I do, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. Let me know in the comments what part of our human story you find most amazing. Until next time, stay curious.